Hey everybody, welcome to another action-packed, exciting episode of Scotty's Record Shop. This is going to be an interesting one, but before we get into that, I want to say hello and welcome to our new subscribers. I hope I don't lose any subscribers yeah, as a result of this one, because I'm going somewhere that might be a little taboo. I'm going to deal with this subject as gentle as I can. But anyway, I'd like to, like I said, welcome all of you who are subscribing. I do appreciate each and every one of you. I really sincerely do. And hopefully I do not offend anybody with this subject matter. This was a video I was going to do earlier this week, but the Beatles went and kind of hinted around about the release of Anthology and all that gloriousness. So I made a video on Tuesday about that. This was going to be on Tuesday, and here we are. If you're watching this relatively within the time that I'm making it, it's Thursday. But anyway, I want to deal with the upcoming release of John Lennon, Yoko Ono, Power to the People, which is kind of a mishmash. I'm not going to get into most of it because you guys, there's tons of videos about this, but it is the one-on-one concert combined with demos and other things, and this, or at least most of this, Sometime in New York City album, 1972. Now, all of it fine and good and interesting, with the exception of the omission of the very first track on here. That's where I'm going, kids. Of course, I will be slapped for saying the N-word on YouTube, so I won't, but we all know what the word is. We all know what the controversy is. But I want to address it. I want to give a little bit of a little background and just my thoughts, if that's okay with you. Okay? Okay. Number one, let's talk about John. Okay? John liked, and I mean, I'm not saying I knew John, but we all know John. John liked to stir the pot. Okay? John was not afraid of creating controversy to create attention to what he wanted you to listen to. What he wanted to talk about. I mean, he's not a Boy Scout. Okay, he wasn't a Boy Scout. We won't get into all of his history of some of the stuff he did that Lennon fans don't like to talk about. But it's relevant here in a way because the younger generation don't care about necessarily about our us growing up with John Lennon's music and the Beatles' music and stuff. They just, in the words of my youngest daughter's 22. I always say she's 21 and she's 22. She corrects me all the time, whenever she calls. 22-year-old, a very progressive person. This is the way she went. This is her direction. That's fine. When it comes to, and she knows my love for the Beatles, and she refers to John as a horrible human being. Okay, this is the way that people think. So we have to put, the reason that I'm mentioning this is, there is a reason I'm mentioning this, okay? John Lennon did some things that sometimes we would kind of overlook because it's John, you know? I mean, let's get real. Let's look at the cover of Sgt. Pepper, okay? He wanted Hitler and Aleister Crowley on there, okay? And that's still causing shit with some people today. People look at that cover, and rather than looking at the music on the inside and how wonderful it is, they'll look at that and say, see, they are all, meaning the Beatles, they are all demonic followers of Hitler, and people literally think that because John thought it would be kind of funny to stir the pot a little bit. Thank you, John. You know, unfortunately, this was who John was sometimes. On to this song. Woman is the end of the world. The title wasn't even from John. It was from Yoko. In 1972 when that came out, and I cannot remember. I don't have a copy of it, but that doesn't mean anything. I cannot remember if it was issued as a single or not. I don't think it was. However, I can tell you that that got played on the radio. On rock and roll radio, along with a handful of other things on here. But it got played on the radio. And, like, people praised it. Because they got what Yoko was trying to say. It wasn't a nice word. It's still not a nice word. But it was used for shock value. It was used for, like, what did he just say? What did he just sing? Did he sing? You know. Now, I'm not saying that that's good necessarily, but it is what it is. Let's move on to the current crisis, whatever. I really wish that Sean would come out and speak about this, because he had a crappy choice to make. He was handed a crappy choice, and I think that he may have taken advice from lawyers and stuff, but in the end, he is in control, to a certain extent, of his father's legacy. Now, yeah, the record companies could say, we're not putting that out. And that could have happened, that kind of being implied by other people, but we don't know for sure because Sean hadn't said anything. But this is where I'm going with the young people thing. Okay? The Beatles are trying to build their legacy, or Sean is trying to build upon his dad's legacy for future generations. And although our generation understood the context and the motive behind the title, because all you really have to do is listen to the song and you know what he's saying. We knew that, but unfortunately, or fortunately, or however you want to look at it, with the younger generation, Sean and the record company and lawyers all had to go, look, are we going to put this out and potentially alienate the younger generation who have plenty of time to buy more John Lennon product in the next 25, 30 years? Or are we going to cater to us, the old farts that have been buying John Lennon stuff? That would be me, by the way. And possibly you. Right? Who have been buying this stuff for a long time. Who do we cater to? It's a tough decision. I do get it. I agree with the majority of the YouTubers that I've seen and have actually talked to. I think it should have been on here simply because of a historical. It's a historical point. It's not always pretty. History is not always pretty. We've done stupid things in the past. John Lennon has done stupid things. Okay? But they are what they are. It's not necessarily a reflection of Sean. It's not a reflection of the Lennon estate. It's not a reflection of you and me who understand it. So it was a very fine line. I get it. I don't think he made the best choice. And at the same time, I also think he should come and talk to us. Come, Sean, come up to Maine. Love to have you. Sit down and let's talk about this stuff, you know. It would really be interesting to see your entire thought process. And I'm not saying, again, it's not right or wrong. Sean's in charge. Sean did what he thought he had to do. Although I am disappointed. I'll be really honest with you. I think it was the best damn song on this album. I really do. Now, Am I going to get this? Am I going to get this? I probably won't get the compilation or get this box set because I don't care that much for this era of John and Elephant's memory. Although the live stuff is kind of intriguing, and I think that they do an amazing job of putting together these collections. I think the Lennon Estate has done a fabulous job. I mean, if again, you know, Sean, I know you're watching, right? I know that somebody, Yoko, hi, right? If you want to send me it so I can review it, that's fantastic. I just don't A, have the money, and B, I'm going to save my money for Walls and Bridges because that's one I really love. That's an album I love. This one, you know. Not sure what you think. Let me know what you think. Hopefully I was, you know, I tried to be as gentle as I could be. Tried to be as, you know, I'm trying to be as open-minded. You know, I mean, I've got the 20-year-olds, the 20-ish year olds. I got two daughters that are in their 20s. I know a little bit about how they think and how they look at my generation and think that we're kind of ass backwards about some stuff. That we were not as enlightened as they are. So, anyway, had a phone call coming in. So I guess that's the right time to end this little talk. Please like, please subscribe, okay? And share. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I would really greatly appreciate it, all right? Until next time, everybody, peace and love.